So
I
you
know,
love me
Rob,
unconditionally when there's a condition.
We're watching him in the park, and very quickly he's back to being compared to a murderer for being gay.
When I see us argue in the park, yeah, I have a lot of feelings. Like, am I crazy? Am I asking for too much? Why does it feel so bad? What do I want from her? I think the show is also me trying to articulate that. I'm Jerrod Carmichael.
Hey, I'm Ari Katcher. I'm the director of Jerrod Carmichael Reality Show.
And this is Variety's Making a Scene.
It's fucking so upsetting.
No, it does breaks my heart. When we made the show, it was important for me to remain a pure subject. I didn't want to be involved in creative meetings. I didn't want to think about my life as a season, or I didn't want to think about these problems as having an art any more than I already do, because then I would perform for the camera. And part of the conceit is that I'm trying not to perform. I felt like I was performing so often in my day-to-day life, harboring a lot of secrets, and I just wasn't being true. And I used the camera to make me accountable.
I feel like we did kind of talk early on about, like, if we do this, we're going to be showing the reality. You know, it's not going to be the likable sides of you. It's going to be the likable sides of you and the unlikable, you know, the full picture. And it makes me a little bit nervous just as a friend watching somebody do that.
It's funny because with my show, I wasn't in the editing room. I'm not involved with the edit, but Ari Katcher, who directed the series, is one of my closest friends and my most frequent collaborator. And so I trust him creatively. I also trust him personally because he's someone I turn to for advice. He knows the truth. He knows the true story. He knows at least my feelings toward my mother, toward my boyfriend, toward Tyler in the first episode. He knows all those things. So I don't have to think about it. Is he going to manipulate something in the edit to make something that it wasn't? He knows what it is. So I wasn't involved. So I was able to just trust the camera in the series completely, in a way that if I'm like here, like, you know, you all seem nice, but I don't know, makes me want to be anonymous a little bit.
What the fuck is this show? That is so upsetting.
Anonymous serves as the Greek chorus for this in the voice of the audience. And the show operates with an awareness of itself.
I like that choice, to be so engaged and so present and so there and so vocal while you're being filmed, but also not wanting to be a part of it to the point of wearing a mask.
This is my fucking problem with the show, which is why I'm wearing this fucking mask and why I fundamentally want no part of it.
He had such strong opinions about the show, and we want to include any point of view that's strong. That person has it for a reason, and I'm at least curious to hear about it. I just love their chemistry, and they're very combative as friends, and I always find that pretty engaging to watch. And I think that's why I got so excited about that scene, was because it did show a deeper layer to their friendship of how much Jerrod's friend really loves and cares about him.
I don't think that I've really thought about release for anything that I've made until right before it comes out. And then, like, weeks before it's released, I'm like, oh shit, like, people are gonna see this and react to it and analyze it. And that last moment with me and my friend in the theater, and he says, this is on a conveyor belt to hell.
All of this is like on a conveyor belt into fucking hell, which is the release.
It is kind of a moment of realization, like, oh yeah, like Twitter and TikTok and Reddit and whoever is gonna react to this. And people in the streets are gonna react to this and have feelings about this. And it's so personal. I was excited, but it was a little scary.
I actually, to be totally honest, was like pretty on the fence about it, about shooting these things, because it was really, really towards the end of the shoot. And it was actually a pickup scene. Like, we'd already filmed the bulk of it, and we were kind of in the editing room, and we're like, maybe this would be useful. But in the edit, I was so glad that we had it, because they ended up having this like really nice conversation. I think the original idea was maybe when Jerrod's friend, who'd been really kind of skeptical about this, sees some of the final product, a lot of what we had filmed throughout the season, maybe he'd have a different point of view. You saw like this side of his friend that was kind of tender and kind of like really looking out for him and kind of deepened their friendship in a way. And also I thought Jerrod was able to articulate some of his complex feelings about that in a way that was useful.
Anonymous participates for the same reason anyone in my life participates, out of love. And I like to believe that there is a curiosity there because the show is a challenge. Can we find something that resembles truth? Can we find truth through such an artificial medium? It is a challenge that we try to meet. I hope we met it. This is my home.
So big. Oh my gosh. You live in large, and that's nice.
I'm living large.
Jerrod just randomly gets a call from his mother telling him she totally feels terrible about the distance between them, and it felt like a real epiphany. It was amazing. Everybody on the crew got really close and attached to the dramas in Jerrod's life in probably an unhealthy way. But people are like crying and upset, like, oh my God, this is amazing. And as a friend, I was like so happy for him. He was so happy and just joyful, and it was amazing to see. And it was also, as somebody who knew that we had to turn in 8 episodes to HBO, was a little bit scared because I was like, well, that's like 2 of the episodes gone right there. Then we get there, and that's when we're filming this scene.
Don't say you love me unconditionally when there's a condition.
We're watching him in the park, and very quickly, he's back to being compared to a murderer for being gay. You just see this look on his face in real time just happening as he's like realizing, oh, I misinterpreted this phone call.
You've laid out conditions.
It still doesn't stop my love, though.
Do not say you love me unconditionally when that's not true.
We watched a few things that were broken up, like from across the year of filming, and I was just reacting.
So I should accept your conditional love.
No, you don't have to accept it, no.
When I see us argue in the park, yeah, I have a lot of feelings. Like, am I crazy? Am I asking for too much? Why does it feel so bad? What do I want from her? I think the show is also me trying to articulate that.
A lot of the time filming the show, I'm just like off somewhere in the bush. If it's outdoorsy, I'm probably in the bushes somewhere with 2 monitors in front of me and like a headset so I can talk to the cameraman and be like, here, let's pan over to Jerrod. I want to, just trying to think about what we're going to use in the edit and just trying to stay in the moment. But there was a few times when we were filming where I would catch myself and be like, oh, fuck, I forgot that I'm like actually supposed to be communicating with the cameraman right now because I was so like blown away by what I was seeing happening in real time.
It almost feels like hidden camera to me. That conversation would play out without the camera the same way.
I wish there was a way to explain to her how it makes me feel. I think that's what the impulse to record and show.
It did make me nervous to watch it with Anonymous or to watch it with an audience because sometimes I feel crazy, like maybe I'm asking for too much or maybe I'm asking for the impossible. I'd like to know that my mother is capable of change at any age because I'd like to believe that about myself. And if I am her, if I am my father, I'd like to believe that I can continue to grow and change and evolve throughout my life. And so I fight for that for me and for them.
That's a pretty consistent through line that I didn't even really know we were tracking. I knew Jerrod wants to address all the shame in his life, but I didn't realize until kind of like pretty much towards the end of filming, I think there was also another agenda here, which is you thought you could change the people in your life. By filming people and then showing it back to them, it could be the thing that changes people, because I think he's been trying to change people in his life for a very long time.
I'll pray with you.
Really? Oh my gosh, okay.
Okay.
There's a couple times when I felt like, oh, you kind of got to put all this aside and just check in with him. And I felt this especially with his mom, in that episode when she prays the gay away.
And Lord, I come to you, Jerrod and I, and my prayer is, Lord, that you would take the desire from my son to be with a male.
I maybe in life have never seen such a moment of disconnect where somebody is so happy and feels so seen, and somebody is so unhappy and feeling so unseen, and they're happening together at the same time. It's kind of chilling.
It doesn't make me concerned putting these things on camera because she doesn't care. She would say this in front of the world. She'd say it privately. She doesn't really change in that way. The show's very exploitative. Like, I'm paying for my parents' life, and they have to be in my reality show because I give them no choice. If you want to use the word exploitative, feel free. I don't disagree with that. I think that having the conversation is more important than the means. I know I needed to say these things, and I wanted to explore my relationship with my parents or the people in my life, and that was far more important to me than how we did it. I think it's insane. Yeah, of course it's insane bringing cameras into your personal life in that way. I really love the score. I love those voices, like this, like those things get stuck in my head. Ari found this Italian producer who really caught the essence of the show, like the fact that I think they use voices because it's so much conversation, and just to try and distill that into music, it was just like an interesting challenge for them.
I always gravitate towards a score that feels right, but isn't what you'd expect. You almost don't even know why it feels right. I like to trust that. Like, something just felt right about it. Like, there's nothing about that makes any sense, but we just were playing some Italian scores over it early on as we were like editing, and something just felt right. If there was a tough conversation that Jerrod had, I didn't want like heavy strings telling you that this is tough. Everything that happened just happens. It's really just has to be a gut instinct with music.
Happy Mother's Day.
Say something.
No, let me hug you.
I've always been obsessed with telling my own story, with capturing moments, giving them purpose. While making the show, I had a couple cameras on me at all time, on vacation, just always. And I would film things and film myself and film moments in my life. And then Sean, our DP, would just come pick up the cards. And same thing with the home videos, like all the home footage. I didn't know what was chosen from that. There's moments of me singing in the choir. There's moments, like really intimate moments with my parents at the beach or my parents at home that I was surprised to see when I watched the final edit.
Oh my gosh.
I had given up hope that the series was going to bring together his family and his new family in any way. And then he sent us that footage from Thanksgiving, and it was a little kernel of hope.
I'm filming a moment between my boyfriend and my mother in the kitchen that made me really happy, that is redeeming because I know that ultimately things take time. Whether or not my mom changes or not, I know we can still have happy moments.
Is this your mom standing over there?
Yes. Mom, I love you.
I think it was the most honest version of where he was at most currently, because it was the last thing that was filmed, because it didn't even have a film crew. I wasn't there, cameraman wasn't there. It was Jerrod with a camera. We were already deep into the edit, and he sent us that footage. And it was just kind of nice to see that that is where they're at. Everyone's still trying. His mom's still trying, Mike's still trying. And you can also really see too how much Cynthia really does, I think, like Mike as a person, which is beautiful and sad.
You know what I realize I need is a reason to believe everything will be okay.
I think I've seen a huge shift in him after doing the show. So I think it was like hugely, hugely effective for him. Even if he didn't show it to the world, just a project in growth was really helpful for him.
I feel like the conversations I had on the show were necessary for me in my life and necessary for my own healing. I wouldn't have had them without the show. I know that's crazy, but I would have lived in a space where I was just hiding myself and afraid of rocking the boat. And I'm happy it was said. And so, yeah, we're able to show up as ourselves with nothing hidden. And that feels really, really good. All we can do is keep trying you know, and we show up in North Carolina. We're there for Thanksgiving, going for Christmas. My boyfriend holds my hand throughout all of it. And we just are there and we're playing with the kids and he's helping my mom with the dishes. And that's life. I felt like that was the happy ending, you know, like that we just keep trying.